Lindisfarne, a compilation CD called On Tap. In the pre-Ant and Dec 70s, Newcastle was a mystical place of likely lads and jarrow marchers. They ate stotty cake, and when the boat came in they would have a fishy on a little dishy. In those pre-Ant and Dec days their accent was strange and often unintelligible. Babies were bairns. They called out "Hooray, bonny lass," and said "Why aye" when they agreed with you. Lindisfarne were a folk rock band. 5 hippies in greatcoats playing simple songs with a rock rhythm section and mandolin, harmonica and fiddle. Like a Viking Fairport convention, they were ambassadors from a strange land. They were named after a holy island just off the coast of Northumbria. As much the wild north of folklore and legend as you could ever imagine. They had a hit single with a song that was neither their best nor an obvious choice, as it was quite clearly about buying drugs. But it gave them a brief period of high profile, appearances on TV and interviews in the music press. One of them played mandolin on Rod Stewart's Maggie May. The single was called Meet Me on the Corner and came from their second album, which also became very popular. The album was called Fog on the Tyne, and the title song became a Geordie anthem. It was a very simple song that sounded traditional. It would not have been out of place played next to Blade and Races. Us would-be naughty schoolboys sang it in the playground because it had a verse about urination. It was one of the first songs I learnt on the guitar, and the violin solo was one of the first solos I ever played on a guitar. But it was never a song that belonged to me. Now I would almost say it felt like cultural appropriation. However hard I sang it, the Fog on the Tyne would never be mine. The success of the single and the second album led to more interest being shown in their first album. An album called Nicely Out of Tune, a perfect title for music with rough edges that add to its substance. That album produced another hit, the absolutely brilliant Lady Eleanor, a haunting masterpiece of surreal imagery with an irresistible chorus. There was also the hymn-like Clear White Light, with layers of spine-tingling harmony. The 2 albums had a number of other great songs, all written by the songwriter Alan Hull. A third album came and went, but they were fading away like their namesake island disappearing into the North Sea mists. After a change of lineup, there was another hit, another timeless anthem, Run for Home. This compilation annoyingly mixes up tracks from their different eras, so next to the early Nicely Out of Tune songs with the charming harmonies, a bit like an English music from Big Pink by the band, you get highly produced non-folky pop rock. And then, like all such compilations, it gets electronic and dancey and awful. But it could have been worse. They could have ended it with the 1990 World Cup version of Fog on the Tyne featuring Gaza. But they had the good taste to end it with the Clear White Light that's going to guide us on our way. Lindisfarne On Tap.